Testing, testing. What's good, everyone? Let me know if the audio is clear. I am not in my home setup. I'm wearing AirPods right now, so just curious how the audio sounds. Just give me some feedback on that. I want to make this nice and pristine, so let me know, guys. What's good, everyone? All right, sweet. So glad the audio is good. Good. Just making some final announcements before we get started. So just give me like 5 minutes to make all these announcements, and we will get started. It will be a pretty straightforward weekly forecast. Um, don't have much time today, so we're just gonna get straight to the point here and get ready for the week together. And yeah, so just give me a few moments. Hopefully, you all had a great weekend. So yeah, nice to have everyone here. What's up, latest trends? Glad you're tuning in for the first time. Nice to have you here, brother. What's up, Shay? What's up, Lost Burner? What's up, Ghost? Appreciate the love. Interesting. Well, I guess we all know you love Sir Pickle now. We'll get started soon here, guys. Again, just give me a few moments, making some final announcements. Da, 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 da. Whoops. What's up, love from India? Awesome, awesome. Let's fix your audio and internet. I think we're okay. I'm not at my house, so honestly, me being not at my house is a guaranteed bump in internet points because my internet is, as you all know, pretty garbage. What's up, Fidelis from Nigeria? Nice to have you, brother. Appreciate you tuning in for the first time. So we'll get started in a couple minutes. Just for those who are just tuning in, just making some final announcements to let the people know we are all live right now. So just give me a couple more minutes and we'll get started. But while we're waiting, just let me know in the chat, how was y'all's week last week? Green, red, break even. Always curious how your guys' weeks was. You like the background birds? Damn, love to see that. Me too. Help me lock in. They're nice and peaceful, huh? What's up from Russia? Gertrude. What's good, brother? What's up, Chronix? Alright, almost there. Thanks for the patience, fam. Red? Unfortunate. What'd you take a loss on? Paulius? Green on the week? Love to see it. Love to see it. What's up? Love from Uganda. What's good, Tevin? Yeah, I was actually red on the week, guys. Last week I was red on the week. I took one trade on NQ. It was a PM session, 1 minute unicorn. And yeah, that was just a loss, but very valid loss. Very beautiful setup. It is what it is. On to the next. Alright, just posting on Instagram, and then we'll get started. Live on YouTube. Tune in. Tap in. What the heck? Last week found 2 trades in green. Love it. Love to see it. I'm gonna try an attempt to pronounce her name. Let's take a shot. Akara Husaman Khan. ¿Qué más, Pickle? What's up, Pablo? Nice to see you here again, brother. Greetings from Belgium. What's up, day in, day out? Love from Pakistan. What's good, man? Do you trade currencies like 6E at all? Yes, yes, I do trade 6E currency futures. That is in my watch list. The only currency futures really I'm trading now with my unicorn model is 6E and 6B. I'm not looking at Aussie currency futures or New Zealand or CAD or CHF or JPY. I think it's enough with Euro and 6B to play with dollar. So it's cool because with my watch list right here, I'll just pull it up. You guys should be able to see my chart. I have all of these assets right here that have correlating assets, right? Besides oil. Oil is the only one who doesn't really have anything correlating with it in my watch list right here. But ES and NQ are correlated pairs, so I could look for SMT there. Gold and silver correlated pairs. You can look for SMT there and relative strength. And then 6E and 6B, again, very correlated pairs. You can look for relative strength and SMT between those two. But yeah, I can't add more, but since I'm for this unicorn model, I'm working with a lot of lower time frames and lower time frame context. It's harder to have a larger watch list and look at all the currencies and all of these futures I'm looking at here. So I prefer to have less, just focus on these two major ones and just give more focus to each individual because again, I'm using lower time frames here for my analysis rather than when I was using the swing model. And for any of those who do use the swing model, you look for daily context minimum. And with that, there's no problem with having a larger watch list since you're just looking at the daily minimum for context. And we use the daily minimum for context because that is the highest probability you can have to frame lower time frame trades in. Like from a daily, you would go into your 1 hour and look for swings there. And that's a very high probability swing model. But when you're using the swing model and going into 4 hour context, well, 4 hour context alone for a swing just wouldn't be enough, in my opinion. It wouldn't be as high probability. But 4 hour context for an intraday trade, well, that's a different story. And that's why I use that for a unicorn model. I'll use 4 hour context even without having daily, as you may have noticed. Can you trade FTMO in the US? I don't believe so. I don't believe you can. What is your trust level on SMT? Well, I use SMT as more of a confluence to an already pre-existing bias and idea. So if it's there, it's like I just see it as a cherry on top. But if it's not there, it doesn't mean I'm not going to trade it because SMT is lacking, which some people do, but I personally don't do that. If I see it there, cool, more confluence. If it's not there, still cool. I'll still trade it. All right, I want to get started soon, but Instagram's giving me some issues trying to post this up, so just stick with me a little bit. You have audio problems, bro? Really? I'm using AirPods right now, so that might be why. Again, I'm not home. Let me know, though, guys, if that's true for all of you. I'm gonna have to restart this right here. 1 second. Is the audio okay? Just before we get started. Audio's good? Okay, sweet. I'll try to talk a little louder. Because, yeah, I'm wearing AirPods right now. Sounds good? Okay, sweet, sweet, sweet. Beautiful. Audio's okay. Love it, love it. Yeah, audio won't be the best, but we gotta make do with what we got right now, so it's either that or no forecast. Let's see. It is what it is. That's right. That's right. All right, announcements are all made. Let's get it. Let's get it. So let's begin over here on dollar. As always, we always want to start on dollar, and let's pull up the economic news calendar. It is the first thing we want to be looking at every single week. It is our roadmap. So let's pull that up, and you should be able to see it right there. What's good, Bradley? I can personally confirm that rumor as being true. I actually don't like pickles. Funny, funny, right? All right. So let me try. Okay, let me turn the music down just a bit because the audio. Yeah, I know there's audio issues, guys. Testing, testing. Okay, I'm just gonna speak louder into the mic right here. At this point, I'm gonna just yell. Yeah. All right, so we have the economic news calendar right here. Let's walk through that together. I posted it on Twitter, but just to go over it again, we have Monday right here. We have CAD red folder news at 1:30 p.m. Okay, great. If you are a forex trader, you can take intraday trades there. But Monday, there's no red folder news on USD. Okay. Now, for me, that doesn't mean I'm just going to completely ignore USD pairs or indices. I'm going to go into the day with more caution, right? Because a lack of news typically brings in a lack of volatility, a lack of energy and price action. So consolidation or seeking to destroy conditions on a Monday with no news are just wouldn't be a surprise. In fact, they are the expectation going into a week like this. So what I do on Mondays is I'm very cautious and only demand the clearest, absolute most beautiful price action. And if it sets up clear draw, clear intention, then I will look to trade on that Monday. But it has to be just absolutely beautiful price action, and I won't settle for anything that makes me feel uneasy or just not confident in a certain move. So again, it's just to have that expectation that you don't need to trade on Monday, you don't need to force it on that day with no news. So again, just be cautious overall. Tuesday, we have 10 a.m. red folder news. Okay, so that is perfect. That is great. News injection on that Tuesday could bring in some nice volatility. Also, keep in mind, it is an NFP week. NFP is one of big three news events that we have to keep in mind, right? Because you don't want to trade over here Friday is that NFP. You don't want to be trading prior to that NFP event. Even the day before that can get quite unfavorable, right? So early on in the week is when we typically see majority of our opportunities form, right? So Tuesday could be a potential very interesting day with this 10 a.m. red folder news. Wednesday, we have, again, red folder news on USD at 8:30 a.m. We also have Euro red folder news and JPY red folder news right there. So Wednesday, and also interesting day to potentially catch some nice trades. Thursday, 8:30 a.m. red folder USD news. Thursday is another day we have to be quite cautious on because it is the day before NFP. Now, the day before NFP, the day before most big three news events, CPI, NFP, FOMC, they typically are held in a consolidation prior to the big three major volatility event right here on Friday. All right. So it's a day to be cautious. And again, like we are demanding on Monday, wait for or demand very clear intention towards a very obvious draw. If it's not there, do not push it, right? Because our expectation on days like this, lower probability price action. So do not force it on Thursday. Try to get your trades in over here, ideally Tuesday and Wednesday. And then from there, Friday, NFP day at 8:30. We do not want to trade before it. We do not want to trade during it. We do not want to hold any trades. All right, sorry for the dog. We do not want to hold any trades through that. So reason for that is you might get slipped, okay? You don't want to get slipped. So, one second, guys. Let me pause right here. Someone just came to the house. Just give me a second. All right, guys. Sorry. Remember, I'm not home right now, so if you hear some noises in the background, it is what it is. Apologies for that. But yeah, that is the economic news calendar. It's an NFP week, so main days to be cautious right here are Monday and Thursday. All right, let's go into dollar right now. We want to be starting on the monthly time frames, doing our top-down analysis from the top. So that would always be a monthly chart. And that's how we're going to do it for all these pairs right here every week. So let's look at dollar on the monthly basis. We had this monthly fair value gap that we are currently not respecting. Why are we not respecting it? Well, look at this body just trading right through it. Zero intention, zero rejections going on here. On a lower time frame, this is going to signal fair value gaps, displacing right through that. Bullish order flow leg, bullish order flow, just pointing higher, right? There's zero sort of intention to push lower here. So what happens in situations like this where we're failing to offer fair value? We're failing to offer fair value at a fair value gap. We need to understand that the market only does two things. What are those two things? Seek liquidity or offer fair value. So if we're failing to offer fair value right here, we're likely going to seek liquidity up here. All right, that is the current read on this monthly. So let's go down into the weekly, see if we can get any more story in terms of actual fair value gaps to use to trade up to that new drawn liquidity up there. Because on a monthly basis, we don't really have context. Whoops. On a monthly basis, we don't really have context, and we don't really have any sort of PD array to get in line with that idea higher. So let's go down one time frame, see if this weekly chart has any sort of context. Again, here is that weekly extremely strong bullish order flow just pointing higher right through that monthly gap. And we want to follow what that order flow is doing, right? These lower time frames right here are our compass. Do I use SMMT from day? No, I don't even know what SSMT is. No. But anyways, on this weekly right here, what do we see? And this is very, very similar to last week. In fact, this is probably the same exact analysis we had last week right here, where last week we had this gap right here that we were expecting it to be a breakaway gap. So let's mark this out as a weekly FEG, and let's mark this out as a weekly bag. Now, why is it a bag? If you're new here, if you don't know what a bag is, a breakaway gap is, it's simply you take a 3-candle FEG formation, right? Because that's what makes up a fair value gap. 1, 2, 3. When you have that third candle close above the second candle's high, like it's doing so right here, like it did so right there, this fair value gap right here is a breakaway gap, meaning we expect that to not get traded into, and we expect that to remain open. Why? Because price is already showing intention to push higher, meaning if in this third candle right here that creates that breakaway gap right here, if there's a daily fair value gap, we can already use that to push higher. Okay, now let's use that same logic to what's happening right now in price. 3-candle fair value gap, 1, 2, 3. Here's the actual gap. Let's mark that up as a weekly FEG. Let's relabel that to a weekly BAG, which is just breakaway gap. And what's happening on this third candle? We're closing aggressively above it. Meaning, on a lower time frame, what does this mean? We're showing fair value gaps created above that high. And if we see that occurring on a daily basis, if we see a daily FEG in this third candle's range, we can already push higher. Okay? Let's go to the daily. And what do we see? This is an exact replica of last week. So this is a beautiful example right here. Here is last week's breakaway gap. This is that third candle's range, which there was a daily fair value gap. So in last week's forecast I mentioned, we're likely going to move higher off of this daily gap, which is what happened right there. Now, let's go into this week. What's going on? We can delete this one right now. This is pretty irrelevant. And just focus on price action right here. The third candle's range that we were looking at, which is right here. Remember that third weekly candle, which would be this price action right here. In fact, it's from this Monday right here. So this right here, this daily fair value gap is already showing intention and is creating a fair value gap, a PD array we can use to already frame higher prices from. With our understanding that this weekly is a breakaway gap and we don't need to come down into that, we simply go down one time frame, look for a fair value gap in line with that idea of higher prices, which we can identify right there. And this already is enough context to work with. So we can frame higher prices and build an expectation that price is going to move higher off of this daily gap without having to come down into this weekly breakaway gap down there. So what I'm expecting coming into this week on dollar is higher prices off of this daily context, daily IRL to ERL up to, first of all, this previous swing high, and ultimately this swing high right here, which was, let's see, that level, I think that was a weekly swing high we marked, right? So this is the next weekly premium array price can draw towards to, right? There's nothing else really that on a weekly basis we're going to draw towards to. No other premium array besides that weekly swing high right there. So we're going to go for that and use that as a drawn liquidity. Now coming into the 4 hour, we see a 4 hour fair value gap right here. So let's mark that up, showing that displacement already off of that daily fair value gap, showing that beautiful intention to want to move higher. So we're already commencing a market maker buy model right here, looking quite interesting. So I'll be keeping an eye on that gap right there on dollar. And yeah, looks nice. Bullish bias on dollar. So let's mark that out as green. Let's restart right here. So we have a bullish bias on dollar. We're going to have a bearish bias on all these futures currencies, okay? Because all of these move inverse of dollar. This is Euro USD, essentially. 6E futures is Euro USD. So when you have USD in the quote currency, it's going to move inverse of DXY. Right? These are why all of these are going to move inverse. Like 6J is JPY USD, CHF USD, CAD USD, NZD USD, AED USD. You get the point, right? And USD is in the quote, right? You have base and quote currencies. That's what makes up a Forex pair. When you have it in the quote, it's going to move inverse of this dollar right here. So let's go into Euro right here. And pretty much it would be the exact same analysis, just inverse, but we're just going to walk through it from the top. So on a monthly basis, we're going to run through this quick right here. Watch. Monthly, failing offer value, likely seeking liquidity. Okay, so we have a bearish price on the monthly. Weekly breakaway gap right here. Let's look at the daily. Do we have any daily fair value gaps we could already move lower off of? This is an old breakaway gap. We can already just delete that. So weekly breakaway gap right there. Let's go to the daily. Look at that third candle's range. Is there any daily fair value gap in that third candle's range? And we see one right here. Now, although it didn't get respected, we did have that order block right there. I may not even have to draw that out in time. We did have this order block right here that we are rejecting off of. Okay, so that is a valid level we can move lower from. IRL, Euro. And this is looking nice for lower prices off of this high probability leg right there, just displacing lower. So Euro looks great for shorts coming into the week right here. Let's mark that on the short watch. Let's look at the 4 hour, what is happening there. And we have beautiful 4 hour fair value gap right here, which could be quite interesting. 4 hour FVG, right? Sweet. All right, that is Euro. Same exact thing, just inverse. GBP is looking a little bit stronger. As you can see, Euro displaced lower. This looks cleaner overall. So Euro looks like it has that relative weakness. So we'd want to use that and focus on shorts for that if we are bullish on dollar. Let's go to 6B monthly. 6B monthly, there's not much context really going on right here. There's no monthly fair value gap. No high probability order flow leg we are working with. So let's go down into a weekly. Do we have any context there? We have this weekly gap above, but it doesn't look like we're going to go trade up into that. We have closed below this level. I would expect continuation lower into this previous week's low to start the week. Again, bullish dollar, bearish GBP right there. So let's go to the dailies. Their daily context. Not really, right? We don't have any high probability order flow legs here. And what do I mean by that? There's just a lack of fair value gaps overall right here in these legs. So I don't want to go any lower than this. As we know, Euro is much stronger right now. So not interested in this. Let's go to AUD monthly. We'll get into NQ, Dr. Enigma. We just always go through the currencies first. And we go into the indices last. That's the good stuff. I love leaving the best for last, right? So we have a weekly. Let's go. Sorry, didn't even look at the monthly enough. On a monthly basis, we're just sweeping this monthly swing high and displacing lower. It's pretty much, we got a bearish bias right here. Our next monthly array we could draw towards to could be this monthly swing low. All right, so let's go to the weekly. So go to a weekly PD array to get in line with that. Do we have a weekly context? So we have a weekly fair value gap here, but it's looking like a breakaway gap. Why? Well, we're already closing below this candle right here, showing intention to push lower. Let's go to the daily. Do we have any daily fair value gaps inside of this leg, inside of this weekly's range right there? On a daily basis, we do not have any fair value gaps right there. Not really interested in that. Here's what the 4 hour is doing. Potential 4 hour fair value gap right here. But again, if we're looking at swing model, I demand 4 hour context minimum. Sorry, I said that wrong. I demand daily context minimum. So I don't see daily context right here in terms of a daily gap we can work with, daily IRO to Euro. So I won't be interested in that for now. Unless we form a potential daily gap right here. That could always be a possibility. Forgot to mention that. Potential daily fair value gap right here. Then that could be interesting after Monday trades. NZD, I believe this looks quite weaker just based on how much lower we displaced right there. Those look quite weaker. Let's see what the monthly's doing. So yeah, on a monthly basis, obviously weaker. More displacement down. Closer to this monthly swing low right there after sweeping that monthly swing high. All right, let's go to the weekly. Weekly context. We had this weekly unicorn right here. Right, here's that breaker. Here's that swing high, swing low, price breaks that swing high. Mark out that swing low in between those two swing highs. Mark the lowest series of down close candles right there. Fair value gap overlapping. Boom. It's never got that retracement into it. It's a great unicorn right there, regardless if that never came into it. But we have a weekly breakaway gap up here now. Let's go to the daily. Daily, do we have any context cooking up? And pretty much same thing. We don't have any daily gaps to work with here. So I'm going to be watching for this daily fair value gap to be created right there. And then that could be nice context to move lower off of. But yeah, I would be bearish right here on that one. And it is weaker than 6A. So I'm going to keep my eye out on New Zealand. Same thing like Euro and 6B. I'm weaker on Euro, so I'm going to keep my eye out on that. Keep my watch there. CAD. CAD looking very weak here. Potential daily gap being created there. Going for this monthly swing low right there. Weekly breakaway gap. We should not retrace into this. There's no reason price should do some crazy reversal like this if we are truly bearish. That this just would not make sense, especially with how much momentum we have coming down into this drawn liquidity. When you have signatures in price like that, where price is extremely aggressive and very close proximity to TP, deep retracements like this, in fact, are just not healthy, and that's not what you want to see. Your voice volume is quite low. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to speak up, so it's, yeah, as loud as it will get. Again, guys, not at the home setup right now, so bear with me. Anyways, back to the daily. Daily for value gap right here. If we can get that, would be nice before targeting and hitting this. We'll see. But quite bearish on CAD. And then 6S, this is disgusting. This signature right here, just look how small this range is. Very lacking in fair value gaps. That signals low probability conditions. So as a result, you don't want to trade this. There's a lot more better things out there, as we just seen in terms of displacement. This right here is the lowest probability pair we have looked at today. So I would avoid 6S right here. Just on that daily. We're in a monthly gap, and we do have a weekly fair value gap right here as well. So it's in a really weird neutral spot. I just wouldn't want to trade this. Right? There's no clear one-sidedness right there, so avoid that, in my opinion. You still in Florida? Yeah, I live in Florida. Yeah, I live here. Yeah, I was at 2 Degrees Place yesterday or a couple days ago with the whole group. It was pretty fun. Good people. 2 Degrees is a genius, guys, by the way. That man's an absolute genius. 6J. Let's go to this right here. On a monthly basis, we are failing to offer fair value right here. Just seeing how aggressively we're trading below this monthly fair value gap. All right. Let's go to the weekly. Huge weekly displacement right through that monthly gap right here. This is likely going to be daily fair value gaps displacing lower. So if we do see that daily context, I will use that right there. 1 second, guys. All right, sorry, yeah, someone walked in. But all right, we're back. We're looking at the daily right here, and we have that context, right? So we have that daily IRL to ERL context. We didn't see any context on the monthly, on the weekly. These are clear context in line with that bearish bias. And we are showing great respect already. This candle right here, beautiful rejection. Zero intention to trade within this gap, just an immediate rejection and closure out of that. Beautiful. Let's look at the 4 hour. Do we have 4 hour fair value gaps coming lower? Not yet. That's fine. We have daily context, so we can do it. Go down into the 1 hour. Take a look at that. Do we have 1 hour fair value gaps? Not quite anywhere right here. We don't have any 1 hour gaps. The last 1 hour gap was right here. And by the way, let me just say, this is a beautiful swing model entry. Let me get this visibility out because it's no me gusta. Let me just take it off the hourly. All right, because this paints our context very clearly. This is a beautiful swing model example because off of a daily fair value gap, we know that we want to be looking for a 1 hour fair value gap displacing away. So we have that 1 hour fair value gap right here, daily into the 1 hour, looking for 1 hour gaps lower. We see that 1 hour gap lower right there. And what do you know? Stop loss would go at the swing high right here. And you want to target 2R. So you'd still be in the swing right there. And then this would be a swing. It's playing out quite nice right now. I do expect this to just continue pushing lower. I would like to see new 1 hour fair value gaps. So then we could be able to go into a 5 minute and look for trades inside of that 1 hour. But this is beautiful. This is a gorgeous swing model example right here. If you want to screenshot that, put it in your journal. Great case study from daily context to 1 hour. You took that JPY trade, Aizio? Beautiful, bro. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful, yeah, it's beautiful. Textbook stuff right here. Daily IRL to ERL, 1 hour displacement lower. 1 hour sharp turn too. This is A plus right here, honestly, because we have that fair value gap stinging into the higher time frame PD array. Fair value gap displacing out of the higher time frame PD array right here, forming that sharp turn. It's a sharp turn because we sharply stung in and sharply stung out, right? It's very straightforward. And then that 1 hour fair value gap entry right there, and just beautiful delivery so far. Took that JPY trade too. Sweet, vroom vroom. Love to see it. I made 10K in this JPY trade Friday. Damn. Good stuff, Adil. Mid trade. I don't think it's mid, and for my model, I think it's beautiful. But we all have our own ways of trading. So if it's mid for you, then it's mid for you. It's pretty nice to me. So we all trade our own ways. Whatever works for you. Bro, you might try trading the object tree. It's the best. They adjust your drawings with your time frame. Mehul. I've never tried that, honestly. I've never tried that. I like the way my process is right now, but I'll take a look at that. Why not? On to the next one here. You took that trade too, Anthony? Love to see it. Yeah, it's beautiful. Good stuff, guys. Let's look at the indices. My favorite, my babies right here. Do you mind explaining the swing model, Sam? I have a video actually on that swing model. It's on my channel. I'll link it now. Actually, let me just find that real quick. It'll take a second. But I have that video. Made it a few months ago. Like, where is it? Where is it? Swing trading. Yeah, right here. I think there's another video too. Let's put that. So yeah, I just linked it right there. There's the video to the swing model. Now, let's look at ES. Good old indices. And let's start this from a top-down perspective as we do with everything. And let's see what's happening on the monthly right here. And we can close this currencies because we already went through that. Pico, is this 1 hour swing not unicorn? Is that okay for you? Yeah, for the swing model, I'll just use the fair value gaps displacing away. It's just a different entry model and method of entry. You could also just wait for a 1 hour unicorn. There's nothing wrong with that. It's really just a preference. They're both valid methods of entering the market. So it's up to you, really. I like the fair value gaps for the swings. Anyways, ES. What is happening on ES? Let's look at the monthly chart right here. Clearly, we have extremely bullish monthly order flow. So on a monthly basis, we have a bullish bias, and it's been that way for many months now. So just keep on chugging along higher. So let's look for PD arrays to get in line with this bullish bias. Let's look at what our lower time frame compass is pointing towards. Because relative to a monthly, our lower time frames would be the weekly chart, the daily chart. So let's see where those fair value gaps, where that order flow direction is pointing. So on a monthly, we're bullish. Let's go to the weekly. On a weekly, well, we have what? We have context. Very clear context and very clear bullish weekly order flow right here with an overlapping old swing high with this weekly fair value gap. Currently rejecting off of that and not closing below the consequent encroachment of this weekly fair value gap. So that is a positive sign that we have not closed below the 50% level. Now, I always prefer the candle to not even close inside the weekly gap. That gives us the strongest confirmation that this next candle, this next weekly candle would expand, right? When you don't have that close within it. But the fact that we didn't close at the consequent encroachment still gives me good hope we may move higher. So we have weekly internal to external right here. Very nice on a weekly basis. Now let's look at the daily. Because I remember the daily was not looking very hot. And there's this daily chart right here. Not too hot. Why? Well, this daily fair value gap right here was showing beautiful intention to push higher, potentially forming the expansion phase of what would have become a daily fair value gap while we were trading up here. But ultimately, to close the day, we had a very harsh rejection below this previous day's low right here and closed in a very, very bearish candle, rejection candle right there. So that's not what you want to see if you have a bullish intention. In fact, short term on this daily basis, I would expect the short term draw to be this previous day's low. And we're not very bullish on the daily basis, so it's quite weird, right? And we can't look for higher prices until we have clear order flow right here, clearer PD arrays we can use to frame higher prices off of. Let's look at the 4 hours. What is the 4 hour doing? Right, that's the previous day's high that we swept. Now let's just look at 4 hour order flow alone. 4 hour order flow was looking quite bullish right here. We had a 4 hour bullish order flow leg that ultimately failed. Failed to offer fair value. And then liquidity was seeked right here. Right? Liquidity was seeked right here at that swing low. So pretty much right here, I'm not going to be looking for lower prices it's in a pretty neutral spot. What I would like to see on ES is I want to wait for new fair value gaps and new intention to ideally, since we have that monthly bullish bias, we have that weekly bullish bias with that weekly context, ideally I would want to see new 4-hour fair value gaps displacing higher to get back in line with that weekly context, weekly IRL to ERL idea. And then once these 4-hour fair value gaps form, now we have clear order flow again. Now we have clearer direction. But at the moment, it is very neutral, very 50-50, and not something I want to interact with in this overall just undecisiveness right here on ES. So again, just to repeat myself, I am waiting for new 4-hour fair value gaps displacing higher to then interact with that clearer intention, clearer order flow. Because order flow right here is not clear. This is just chop. Seek and destroy right here. I don't want to get involved in that. So patience here, patience. Overall bullish, but we need patience for that order flow to get back in line. So that's the ES outlook right there. Just have some patience, right? Go to NQ. We do have some SMT right here at the highs as well. Just note that. On a weekly basis, so on a monthly basis, well, we did sweep this monthly swing low right here. This was SMT on the lows with ES, by the way. So naturally, my next target would be this new swing high, right? This is what I call pivot context when you have just swing low, swing high, right? That's pivot context. On a weekly, not very pretty. We continually are sweeping previous week's highs right here and failing to close above them. So fail to close above this weekly high, failing to close above this weekly high, just struggling to show intention to just run towards this external range liquidity right there. So weekly, this is a very neutral weekly candle, right? We swept previous week's low and swept previous week's high. So very neutral on a weekly basis. It's not ideal, right? Not very clear direction. So let's go to the daily. What is the daily telling us right here? Again, we are in this daily consolidation where we're sweeping external range right here and just pulling back to equilibrium. So right now, where we're currently at is extremely low probability. That's not what I wanted to pull up. We are just at the equilibrium of this range right here, of this consolidation range. Sorry, this is a consolidation range. We are just trading at the equilibrium right here. Swept it and came back. So you never want to take trades inside the equilibrium of consolidation ranges. You want to wait until price displaces out of that. So this is a daily basis. What is the 4-hour doing? This 4-hour fair value gap isn't something I would look to trade. Not something I'd use as clean context because we're sweeping consolidation highs, displacing aggressively back into it. This is a low probability fair value gap right here. I would identify that as a low probability fair value gap because of the way this third candle right here closed, right? This is extremely large displacement back down into this range right here, creating this just very tough fair value gap to have to work through. Again, let's look at the 1 hour. On a 1 hour basis, this is a lot of displacement down lower. So that's the type of fair value gap I would want to see more confirmation out of and not really use that. So what I'd be waiting for on NQ here, just like we were looking at on ES, is new 4-hour fair value gaps higher, getting us out of this consolidation range. And then we have clear skies up towards ultimately this external range liquidity target right there. So this is what I would be watching on NASDAQ, just waiting for fair value gaps to displace us out of this overall pretty nasty consolidation range we're in right now. Until then, I will be sitting sidelined. So we're just going to be waiting for that intention out of the consolidation. And NASDAQ at the moment is stronger. So I'd be keeping an eye on NASDAQ. See how NQ is all the way up there and ES is all the way down here, disrespecting that relative 4-hour order flow leg that on NASDAQ. We still haven't disrespected that. We're still holding that relative 4-hour gap. So NASDAQ is stronger at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on that. But ultimately, just very patient right now. This is very gross daily consolidation right here. Lower probability action on indices. So patience, my friends. Patience. Patience. Don't force it in this chop. You'll regret that. oil. Let's go to the monthly. On a monthly basis, not very clear. Let's delete everything actually and start from scratch right now. 4 days left in this monthly. We swept this monthly swing low. We have this monthly swing high right here. Potential draw. What is the weekly doing? On a weekly basis, there's really not much to see here. By the way, I just noticed a song in the background changed to like some thunderstorm. I'm gonna put the birds back on. Just one moment. Let's put the birdies back on, guys. Happy, positive vibes here. None of that thunderstorm stuff. All right, we're back. We're back, chat. All right, so what was I saying? Where was I? On a weekly basis, there's not much clearness here. I was looking at this, the weekly swing low, actually, as a potential draw. We were sweeping this weekly swing high, and we had daily context pointing lower. So that's what we were looking at last week. We were looking at this daily fair value gap right here to deliver prices lower. Let me just delete some of these lines just to clear things up here. Last week was watching this daily gap for daily internal to external context right here, and it presented some very clean opportunities. Swept that daily swing high inside that daily gap. I was expecting prices to push lower towards this daily ERL right there. Now, what's happening is we're not pushing lower, so that's very suspicious. The fact that we're displacing here, this next candle should have displaced lower. And since it's not, well, what's likely happening next? Seeing liquidity right there. So on a daily basis, this is not looking good at all for lower prices. Let's go to the 4 hour. And what do we see on a 4 hour happening right here? You like the thunderstorms? Yeah, I mean, it's calming, but... Wait a second, these ain't the birds. Second. My thing's bugging. There we go, they're the birds again. They're the birds. The forest noises, that's the good stuff. Alright, so, on a 4 hour basis, that daily fair value gap isn't sending price lower. From that daily idea, we were looking at these 4 hour fair value gaps as the context within that daily context to ultimately hold and send lower. Now what's happening here? We're failing to offer fair value. Okay? We're failing to offer fair value here at these overlapping levels. Fair value area is failing, and we are displacing through that. So remember the two things the market does. We either seek liquidity or offer fair value. If we're failing to offer fair value, we're going to seek liquidity. So where is liquidity resting right here now? If this 4 hour fair value gap is failing, we're seeking this context over here, this swing high. Now we need a opposing PD right now to be formed. And we could already see that right here with this bullish 4 hour BISI we have in price. Now this could already be context to push higher and target this high right there. We have nice equal highs right here as well. So very nice on oil right here. I would be bullish right now and switch that over to a green flag. JRE moments, man, your voice. Is it low? Is it low, bro? Is that what's happening with my voice? I'm trying to speak loud. But yeah, bullish on crude oil. Me gusta. Looks good. For higher prices. Gold as well looks very good. Just monthly, just extremely bullish order flow, just chugging along. Not much we can do with right here. Weekly. Okay, we have a weekly breakaway gap created right here below price. What have we learned earlier in the stream about breakaway gaps? Whoops. What have we learned, guys, earlier in the stream about breakaway gaps? That third candle closes above that second candle's high. We would look for a daily gap inside this third candle's range. to see if we already have intention to push higher. So let's go there. Let's go there. We have a daily gap right here. Already pushing price higher, already showing that intention. Daily IRO to euro. Sweet. Let's mark that as buy side euro. Sweet. Let's push that back. Now let's look at the 4 hour. What is the 4 hour doing? Okay, sweet. 4 hour for value gaps right here, displacing. Ideally, I wanted to see this hold, and we did see a great rejection. This pullback right here was a bit unexpected, quite ugly in my opinion. But ultimately, if you had your stop loss down at this low, or even this swing low, you would have been protected, just using that protected swing low. But what we're doing right now is sweeping this 4 hour swing low right here, and now displacing higher off of that. So this is a valid PDA rate we could have used to expect higher prices off of if we were to sweep it. Right here, we are displacing higher. 4 hour for value gap out of that. 4 hour order flow back underway. Very clear direction right here. I'm curious, is there a 1 hour gap in there? Because this 4 hour is looking baggy, looking very baggy at the moment, very breakaway gappy. This right here on Friday, by the way, these 1 hour gaps are just gorgeous. This right here was gorgeous. I did not find a unicorn, if I remember correctly, inside that 1 hour gap. So there was nothing for me to trade there. Or was there? Nah, there wasn't. We never got that tap back in. And this right here never swept this low either. So I was also watching this. If this took that low, could have been interesting. But no, we didn't really get a solid unicorn there. But yeah, let's delete these 1 hour gaps now. They're not really relevant at the moment. We have this 4 hour gap right here. So we have that 4 hour for value gap looking like a breakaway gap. We got the 1 hour. Now the 1 hour right here is forming the expansion phase of a new 1 hour gap. So if we do get a new 1 hour gap right here, understanding that that 4 hour is a breakaway gap, could be interesting to look for trades inside of towards that external range liquidity target. We're showing very strong intention to push up there. So I'll be keeping an eye on that potential 1 hour gap right here. So gold is on long watch up towards that daily external range high right here, looking good, and we're just gonna keep that on the long watch. Now we have silver, which is looking weaker than gold, clearly weaker than gold. Let's look at the monthly. Not much to work with on a monthly here, no monthly context. On a weekly, okay, on a weekly we have a weekly fair value gap right here. Go to the daily. This daily gap is no longer relevant to us. We have this weekly gap that is not a breakaway gap, so that daily gap, we would want to delete that. And okay, weekly 4 hour. If gold just falls apart for some reason, silver can still move off that weekly gap. I would focus on gold. It's stronger, has more intention, has a more clear read. I wouldn't really look at silver right here and wait for it to come into this weekly, because gold is most likely going to just continue moving along higher, and it's going to pull silver along with it. So I wouldn't wait on this weekly gap on silver. I would just look at gold and focus there on longs, rather than, again, just waiting for silver to pull back into this weekly. Did you and T settle the debate of order block versus FVG? I really like the order blocks. He showed me some really cool stuff while I was there about, you know, his model and stuff. Very interesting stuff. So I think we're settled. I think we're equal, if you want to see it that way. I think order blocks, the way he uses them, are very, very interesting. And I think fair value gaps, the way I use them, are probably more interesting. Now I'm playing. I think everything has a valid use. It's really up to the individual. How do they want to trade? What is easier for them to spot? For me, fair value gaps are easier to the eye to spot. I have more confidence in a fair value gap than I do in an order block. I have more trouble spotting order blocks, and that's just a personal thing. You might love order blocks and see them way easier than fair value gaps. Trading is a very personal thing where you don't have to do what everyone else is doing. It's pretty much just what makes most sense to you. What are you most comfortable with and confident in seeing play day in, day out? And yeah, whatever works for you, essentially. Whatever works for you. But they're both valid. They both work, right? It's not like that debate's it's really silly. It's not like I'm saying fair value gaps are better than order blocks. Order blocks are not better than gaps. Again, whatever works for you. Whatever you prefer. But yeah, guys, that is the forecast. That is everything we are watching. Just to rehash the watch list. Got ES on watch for longs, waiting for new 4-hour gaps higher. NQ on watch for longs, waiting for new 4-hour fair value gaps higher. Gold on watch for longs, already market maker buy model underway, waiting for that 1-hour gap. That could be interesting. Dollar already underway, 4-hour fair value gap right there. NCL already underway, 4-hour context, could be interesting, right? And let's go to the shorts. 6E rejecting off that daily order block. See, I'm using order blocks too. But the only way I'd use an order block is if there is a fair value gap in that leg that creates an order block. So we have that order block here, and for me, it's higher probability when we have this fair value gap, right? So although this fair value gap failed, this is a high probability leg. This right here is just another line of defense. It's the fair value area. So right here, we're rejecting it. It's a high probability order block because we have a fair value gap in the leg. And yeah, we're rejecting it. We're seeing a nice 4-hour fair value gap displacing lower. Pretty nice. And what is this as well? A unicorn. Let's see. What's up, Flamey? Glad you like the reels. Awesome. Been putting some work into those animations. Shout out my editor. He's a beast. Overall, yeah, I agree. Fair value gap, order blocks, breakers. Or you can just see them as fair value areas and then FVGs and swing highs and swing lows. Like Bradley said, fair value area, breakers, first fair value area after reaching higher time frame POI. That boy's spamming. Yeah, Sam, if you spam, I'm not going to look at what you say. Just say it once and I'll see it, but please no spamming, brother. Please no spamming. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I'll take a look at Bitcoin. We always look at Bitcoin at the end just for funsies. Let's pull that up. Always for funsies. We have this monthly context. Same thing as every week. Been looking at this since April now. I think this is finally the move higher. We had this weekly expansion we were looking at last week. So, beautiful. Weekly fair value gap right here now. Created after, what is this, 5 hours left? So weekly order flow is looking nice. We're finally respecting a weekly gap. Finally, right? Because we've been looking at this weekly gaps right here. None of them have respected. None of them has shown any expansion higher. But what's happening now is we're finally showing a respect to a weekly array. So this is starting to confirm weekly bullish order flow right there. Let's look at the daily. Do we have daily context? On the daily, this is looking quite disgusting. Very choppy right here. Very choppy right here. So this weekly gap wouldn't surprise me if we come and get traded into that just because of this daily consolidation. It's not pretty. And that weekly gap again gets formed in 5.5 hours. So could be interesting. Also has this overlapping order block with that right there. So let's mark that out. But yeah, BTC's been just crazy for these last 7 months inside that monthly gap. But I think this is the move. Finally get at all-time highs. And what are stocks doing? What is Nvidia doing? I'm still holding my Nvidia. That's pretty much a longer-term play. But I bought down here like 104 in that monthly gap. I mentioned this a few weeks ago. If you want a simple investing strategy, look at monthly fair value gaps on stocks. on very reliable stocks. I mean, look at Nvidia right here, monthly IRL to ERL, overlapping old swing high. You just literally buy it up in this monthly gap. Monthly IRL to ERL played out right there. So just beautiful, beautiful little trade right there. Google had that same idea, currently still in that monthly gap, much slower, but I did buy some Google down here as well. And then what's Microsoft doing? Microsoft has pivot context, sweeping monthly swing low. Would like to see go for that monthly swing high right there. And PLTR has been kind of crazy. PLTR is another one. Oh man, it finally reached that last week. Wow. Look at, I mean, just look at this. Monthly IRL to ERL. You can hold runners even all the way up there. Overlapping old swing high. Just look at this move right here from 21 up to 45 in the matter of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks here. Months. Sorry, those are months. These are monthly candles. But yeah, just insanity right here. And look at this weekly respect as well. Weekly IRL, ERL. Weekly IRL to ERL. And then finally hitting that. Very interesting strat. How long do you keep them till top level sweep? You can it's up to you really. Do you want to just take a little position trade, little swing trade even, just monthly IRL to ERL? Like you could scale up here, but for me, I have a longer term outlook on Nvidia. So this was just a pretty much a long term portfolio ad that I'm okay buying in here. So I bought down here again at like a 104. I'm not going to scale up here because I want to hold this for years to come. Right? And if this failed, I would have just bought more and added the dip because I have a long-term bullish outlook on Nvidia as a stock overall. So you can't lose. You just gotta be smart with what you're choosing, though. Obviously, you don't do this on a penny stock, small cap stock. You can also do this on ES and NASDAQ. This would be great on ES and NASDAQ because you just add the dip if that monthly context fails, right? Here's another great buy right here. Monthly internal to external. Monthly internal to external. And if you just keep on buying those monthly fair value gap dips, I mean, you'd be up very nicely. And if it fails, you just buy the dip. It's the fucking index, bro. It's gonna go up forever. So just buy the dip if it fails. You can't lose on this. Specifically on like Hunt Indices on NQ, yes. Fail-proof strategy. Let's see. Looks like a chat. Yeah, I got some video before the split. Yeah, just keep that. I already looked at gold, brother. You can rewind and you'll find it. Are you trading stocks or investing? I don't know about stocks. I'm just investing. I don't trade stocks. I just invest. Look at the monthly charts right here. These are just some stocks I haven't watched. I mean, look at Tesla too. And Tesla's a great example. Monthly internal to external. You just buy the monthly gap. Monthly ERL right here. You can sell it. If you have a longer term outlook, well, congrats. You just bought yourself a really nice hell of a dip right here. If you expect all-time highs at some point, that's part. You can take advantage of that if you want. It's up to you, really, if you want to hold for that. Or just take a nice little ERL, IRL, quick little trade right there. But Tesla's crazy with this gap up right here after the earnings, right? Yeah, that was crazy. 22% jump. I'm kind of sick because I was planning on buying Tesla. It kind of hurts because I was planning on buying Tesla right here. I didn't even know earnings was over here, so that went and without me. It is what it is. That'll be more. But yeah, I would have moved on Tesla. What a move. Just beautiful stuff. Let's see what's happening. This is not financial advice. This is not financial advice, guys. This is just having fun. Fun advice. This is fun advice. Which broker do you use to trade the stocks? I use Webull. I have Webull. Webull's cool because if you just put your cash in there, you can just get an easy 5% APY on that. which is super cool. So I've just been dumping a lot of cash in there and getting a nice rate there. One second. Let's look at some other questions. Just ideas, not advice. That's right. Just fun ideas, guys. It's not financial advice. Why do you look broke though? What? Maybe invest in some style as well.
God damn.
That's crazy, bro. What do you? I don't even know what to say. What do I look broke like? What does that look like?
Face of unemployment.
The face of unemployment. Call me the face of unemployment.
The new.
Drop the link in the Discord. For what? The Weeble? Oh, I got you. I'll send the link right now. I'll drop the affiliate link. Why not? Appreciate the support. Yeah, I'll drop it in chat right now. There's a little link. If you guys want to sign up with that, that would, I think, give us both free stocks. I think if you sign, let me see what that link exactly does. I'll tell you now. Yeah, I think you get like fractional shares, something like that. Something like that. You just get a benefit for signing up through that. But yeah, I use Weeble. Weeble's awesome. Weeble's really cool. What is 2L from the Notion template? That's 2 leg. So those are 2 leg entries. So I can just show you what that is right now. Let's say we have a daily for value gap right here. So this is a daily for value gap. Whoops. Okay, this is a daily gap. Right, I'll just mark it manually right here instead. So you have 2 ways of entry, right? There's a lot of entry methods right here we have available to us. We have 1 leg entries, which is just your 1 hour gap in, 1 hour gap out, and that's your 1 leg entry. Now you could go down 1 time frame and look for 2 leg entries. So from a daily, you can go into a 15-minute and look for 2 legs. So you would sit out the first 15-minute leg higher, and then you would enter on the second leg right there. That's the 2 leg entry, just using a time frame lower. That is how we do it. You look young but sound very mature and grounded for your age. Cool, dude. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, I'm 23. I guess I look young for my age. Babyface. Please, AUD CAD. Okay, yeah, you're right, Sam. I got you, bro. You've been asking for a while. What is AUD CAD doing? I know crosses haven't been very nice since dollar has just been absolutely ripping. So I don't know why you'd want to trade crosses when everything else is very one-sided direction. And as you can see, this is as a result of dollar just rocketing, just very low probability consolidated price action. Let me delete all these drawings right here. Yeah, monthly for value gap right here, it's failing to be created. So we have to be taking into account fair value gaps that also fail to get created right here, because we had a fair value gap. Expectation would be a new monthly fair value gap. I don't know why I'm having trouble saying fair value gap. I say it so many times a day, honestly. We have a new expansion phase, and we're failing to create that. So that's very suspicious for higher prices already. Let's go to the weekly. On a weekly basis, we have this weekly gap that is, again, failing to expand higher. We had a rejection. This next candle should have continued pushing higher, but it didn't. We rejected again. This next candle just came right back down into the range. So just on a monthly and weekly basis, very low probability because we're not showing any intention to move higher off of our discount arrays. And then you drop down into the daily and you'll just see very nasty consolidative price action. Look what's happening. We're just funneling into this, just getting smaller, just making a smaller and smaller range. No me gusta. It's gross. It's gross. So I would not be looking at AUD CAD when there's a lot of other stuff. Let's see. What do you do on your spare time besides trading? I work out. I play basketball. I play guitar. Well, I'm trying to learn it. Been trying to learn for a few years. That's fun. I yeah. I read. I do other stuff. Da, 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 da. What else is happening? Yeah, he does it. Okay, okay. Can I use higher time frame 4 hour for bias, M15 for key level, and 1 minute for entry for 2R? Yeah, you can do that. That's what I do on my unicorn model. Slightly different. Like I'll use 4 hour context for my unicorn model minimum, and 4 hour into a 5 minute unicorn or a 15 minute unicorn is fine as well. And then you can go into that 15 minute FEG for an entry. That's totally valid for sure. Hello, I'm unable to join your Discord. How long has this live been going on, by the way? I think we're gonna have to end it soon. I'm trying to keep these short. Let's answering some last questions. Let me send the Discord invite right here, guys. I'm gonna end it soon. All right, all right, all right. There's the Discord. So if you're not in yet, come along, join us. It's a very nice community, very helpful, and we talk about this stuff every day in there. I think you're missing out on a lot of free value. It is completely free, and there's a ton of value in there that honestly could be charged for, but give it all away for free. But yeah. What's up, Sunny? I almost thought that becoming full-time trader is not possible, but thanks for saying this. It's very possible, it seems, by just trading futures. It's possible by trading anything, really, but yeah, it's possible. Anything's possible, bro. You just gotta submit to the time and make sure you're putting in the work every single day. Don't submit to time and not do anything every day thinking it'll just happen. Obviously, you have to give it your all every single day. And then eventually it will happen. What else we got going on here? I think you should run a forex check through before you go. Nah, we don't have time for forex right now. We do not have time for forex right now. Taking tea along with listening to pickle. That's sweet. Yeah, there's a lot of questions right now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to end it like soon. How do you invalidate stop hunts for unicorns for Fair Valley Gap? It's simple. I just wait for a unicorn until the inversion of the Fair Valley Gap. But for a stop hunt, I don't know when to stop looking for unicorns. Are you talking about like? Let me see. What are you talking about, brother? Are you talking about like a stop hunt like this where we sweep a 4 hour low? Because this is a trade I took. Swept that 4 hour low to push higher, ultimately up to that weekly high. Is that what you're talking about? For a stop hunt, I don't know when to stop for looking for unicorns. We looked at Bitcoin. But yeah, how was your time with the other traders? It was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was super cool seeing like T in person. Really smart guy, by the way. Really smart guy. Really knowledgeable. Learned a lot from him. Outstanding dude. Same with 2 degrees. Outstanding dude. Very smart. Very knowledgeable. To give me some advice on the business and everything, and had to change some few things. So shout out them for real. Ryan's cool too. Ryan's a cool guy. And Tandra too. Yeah, she's really nice as well. It was fun. It was fun hanging with some traders in real life, hanging with some real people. You usually just talk to these people through the internet, but cool to spend some IRL time. Can you make a video on how to start futures for forex traders, like the difference in she? Yes, that's my next video. That's my next video, but please don't spam that. Don't keep spamming it. Yes, my next video, guys, is going to be an introduction to futures and the pros and cons of trading that in comparison to forex, and what are the difference. What are all the terminology, contracts, monthly expirations, ticks, points, pretty much just a whole rundown into futures to get you sorted if you have never been into this futures world. So that will be my next video, and I'm working on that currently, working on that whole outline. So yeah, some patience with that. It'll be a very nice in-depth videos for that. It's coming, it's coming. But yeah, guys, appreciate everyone tuning in. I'm gonna end it right here. Hope you all learned something. Hope you all found some value from the forecast today. And thank you so much for tuning in. I would really appreciate if you guys left a like, a little comment, and that would just help boost the algorithm. And I would just really appreciate that. So thank you guys for tuning in. Love you. Let's kill it this week. Let's catch some beautiful unicorns. And peace out, my friends. Much love. Have a great rest of your Sunday.